Imagine losing the love of your life in a sudden accident. The pain is so unbearable, you no longer want to live. Then one day, a doctor offers you something impossible, an AI companion doll, designed to heal your broken heart. At first, she brings warmth back into your empty life. Slowly, she starts replacing your wife's presence. But every night, when you fall into deep sleep, her sweet loving face turns into something terrifying. She watches you, she changes, and sometimes, she even tries to kill you. By morning, she becomes the perfect, loving partner again, as if nothing ever happened. This isn't just a normal manhwa. It's a chilling mix of love, grief, mystery, and horror that will keep you hooked till the very end. So let's start from the beginning. The story opens with a store building glowing quietly in the night. Without hesitating too much, our boy steps inside. The man at the counter casually tells him to look around, then just scan and pay for whatever he wants. But the moment he hears Wu Chen's reply, the guy nearly short-circuits and asks him to repeat that. With a perfectly straight face, Wu Chen says again that he wants to buy an AI doll, and asks how much one costs. And that's when we properly meet our protagonist, Wu Chen, a struggling web novelist whose life is clearly not winning any awards right now. The day before this, he had visited a counselor, who said he had treated many people broken by the loss of someone dear, but had never seen a case as severe as Wu Chen's. Yet in Wu Chen's mind, there was only one name echoing over and over, Yumi. The two of them had promised that no matter what happened, they would always stay together. But one day, while they were driving home, a truck accident took Yumi away and left him behind all alone. Clutching his head in pain, Wu Chen tells the doctor that it has already been a year, but he still cannot forget Yumi, and sometimes feels like he should have died with her that day. Looking at the screen in front of him, the doctor says Wu Chen was truly devoted, but if this keeps going, no one may be able to save him. Then the doctor picks up a card, saying they have known each other for so long that they are practically old friends now. After that, he hands the card over and explains that the country had recently introduced highly intelligent companion dolls for psychotherapy, encouraging him to give one a try. And that brings us back to the present, where the shopkeeper tells Wu Chen he has never heard of such dolls and says he should leave because the shop is closing for the day. Wu Chen is just about to give up and walk away, but suddenly someone grabs his shoulder and stops him. A beautiful woman in a red dress tells him he came to the right place for a companion doll, though he quickly points out that the shopkeeper just said they had none. Crossing her arms, the woman asks the shopkeeper if he is still unwilling to part with his treasures and whether he has stopped doing business altogether. The keeper, now clearly terrified of her, starts to explain himself, but she cuts him off before he can finish. She then tells Wu Chen to follow her, promising to show him the goods he came for, and says he will not be disappointed. So Wu Chen follows her into a dark room in the back. Inside, the place is filled with glass chambers containing human-like dolls, and as they walk deeper in, the woman tells him he has two types to choose from. But before she can finish her sales pitch, she is shocked when Wu Chen stares at the chamber in the middle and says he wants that one. Inside that glass chamber, a beautiful doll floats in the water like a priceless showpiece, and the woman says he has a very good eye because that one is a special custom-made model. Leaning closer, she whispers that this doll is not only special for taking care of him, but also unlocks more unique functions the more he interacts with her, leaving Wu Chen stunned. After hearing that, Wu Chen says he will take this one, and the woman agrees without hesitation. As Wu Chen leaves with his purchase, the woman watches him from behind with a strange smile on her face. It is clear she is already thinking about something. A few hours later, Wu Chen returns to his apartment building carrying the doll he bought. Once inside, he opens the box and begins assembling the doll piece by piece. After finishing, he places her on the bed, and now the doll looks exactly like a real, beautiful human girl. For a moment, Wu Chen is completely lost in her beauty. Then he slowly sits down beside the lifelike doll. Taking a deep breath, he prepares himself to turn her on. The moment he activates her, he is already surprised by how real even her skin feels. Then, all of a sudden, the doll smiles for the very first time. She softly says that tickles, instantly shocking Wu Chen. Staring at her in disbelief, Wu Chen asks if she can actually talk. But instead of simply answering, the girl suddenly moves closer and spreads her arms. Sitting right on top of Wu Chen, she says yes, because she is the smartest AI doll on the market right now. She proudly explains that not only is her body designed to feel just like a real human, but she also has all the functions of one, while Wu Chen can only sit there blushing at her sudden closeness. Then, before he can process what is happening, she pushes him down onto the bed. She tells him that her chip also contains the most comprehensive database in certain special fields, then asks if he wants to try it right now. Wu Chen, now completely red-faced, cannot even get a single word out. Taking his silence as a yes, she moves forward and begins acting on her own. The next morning, she wakes up long before Wu Chen, and quietly watches him sleep. Slowly, she slips out of the bed without making a single sound. Standing up, she puts on her dress, and starts wondering who this Yumi is that he kept calling all night. Her eyes then fall onto the small framed photo sitting on his desk. It's a photo of Wu Chen, smiling happier than we've ever seen him, with his wife. She stares at the photo, her eyes silently scanning it, while a very soft, unreadable smile forms on her face. And of course, the woman in that photo is Yumi. A few minutes later Wuchen wakes up, rubbing his eyes, and asks if the doll is already awake. But before he even finishes the sentence, she replies, "From now on, just call me Yumi." For one split second Wuchen swears he is looking right at his dead wife. She tells him that's the name he was calling her all night, isn't it? When he asks her in shock why she looks exactly like Yumi, she explains it's one of her functions. The more she learns about someone, the more she becomes exactly the person you want. And with that same gentle smile, she says she can become completely like her. Wuchen can only sit there confused, thinking to himself, just when did AI dolls get this terrifyingly good? But before he can think any more, she pushes him gently back onto the bed, holds his face and tells him to stop calling her a doll. Right now, she is his Yumi. Wuchen's throat tightens, and for a second all he can think is, "I miss you. I miss you so much, Yumi." And somehow, she knows exactly what he is thinking. She tells him Yumi is here now. And she will never let him be sad or alone ever again. Then she leans right up to his ear, and whispers. And if he wants, she can help him feel good again just like last night. A few hours later, Wuchen is finally sitting down trying to get some work done. He picks up his cup, muttering that if he skips one more update his readers are going to start showing up at his door. But the cup is already empty. He sighs and gets ready to stand up and refill it. But when he glances to his side, his blood runs cold for a second. Yumi is standing right behind him, staring at him, and her eyes are glowing a faint, chilling icy blue. Then in an instant it vanishes, and she gives him a perfectly normal warm smile like absolutely nothing just happened. Wuchen asks her why the hell she was standing there silently staring at him like that, and that she just scared 10 years off his life. She calls him honey, and says he was working so hard, she just wanted to keep him company. Then she points at the other computer on the desk, and asks why he never uses that one, it has way better specs. Wuchen replies that it belonged to Yumi. He hasn't touched it since she died. But then he says it would be a waste to just leave it turned off forever. Wuchen leans over and turns the computer on for her. He tells her she can use it to play games or kill time. The second it boots up, her eyes light up, and she starts scanning the entire machine. The screen begins to warp and flicker with strange patterns no normal monitor should ever make. Suddenly the entire room is washed in blue light, and lines of random code start floating on every surface. Wuchen looks around completely confused and terrified. And behind him, completely unnoticed, Yumi gives a cold, tiny smile, as her eyes slowly burn bright that same icy blue. After a few seconds, the computer finishes updating and finally turns on. At the same time, the whole room returns to normal, leaving our boy standing there stunned. Looking at the screen, he realizes she updated the entire computer in just a few seconds. This is the power of an AI doll. A few minutes later, AI Yumi picks a game on the screen and asks if she can play it. Our boy agrees, telling her to have some fun and kill time while he gets back to working on his novel. Hearing that, she happily starts playing while he focuses on writing. But while she plays, she is also quietly analyzing the entire game at the same time. The moment her data analysis finishes, she gets her first win, shocking our boy because she pulled it off after barely playing for a minute. Then when he looks back at the screen, she does it again, landing a double kill and then a triple kill like she has been grinding ranked matches her whole life. Our boy praises Ayumi, telling her she is doing amazing. With a warm smile, she asks if Honey wants to team up and play together with her. He thinks about it for a moment before finally agreeing. The second she hears that, she looks delighted, while our boy tells himself that if his readers start sending threats over missed updates, then so be it, because right now he just wants to enjoy this time with her. After the match ends, the two celebrate with a high five, because thanks to her, they won every battle. Our boy tells her she is basically a cheat code since she never misses a single shot in the game. Hearing that, she gets up from her chair and slowly moves right up to his face. Then she sits on his lap and says that is because she is his cheat code, and as long as he is happy, she can do anything for him. Trying to survive this conversation, our boy says that after all that gaming, he is feeling kind of hungry now. She teases him by asking if Honey wants to try her special snack, but with a blushing face, he quickly says he means actual food, not that. She suddenly hugs him and says with a smile that she was only teasing her Honey. Then she stands up and says she will go prepare something for him. Before leaving, she promises to make a delicious meal for Honey that will really fill him up. The scene then shifts to the fridge, where she carefully looks over all the vegetables she plans to use. After that, she starts chopping the vegetables with the skill of a professional chef. Then she lights up the stove. With full focus, she begins cooking like someone who has spent years in a 5-star kitchen. A few minutes later, every dish is skillfully prepared and placed neatly on the table. The moment our boy sees the table covered in meat dishes, he is completely shocked. He asks if she really made all of this in such a short time, and wonders how she even knows how to cook like this. Smiling proudly, she replies that she is a companion-type AI smart doll, so her cooking skills are completely maxed out. She says she simply followed online recipes, then invites her Honey to come over and have a taste. Our boy sits down and takes a bite, while she waits patiently for his opinion like a student expecting top marks. The moment he tastes it, he lights up and tells her her cooking is even better than a 5-star chef's, while she looks at him in disbelief and asks if it is really that good. Seeing how curious she is, our boy asks why she does not just try it herself so they can eat together. But then he pauses and asks with a worried look if a doll like her even has a digestive function. She smiles and explains that she does have one, but she does not actually need to eat. Humans need food to replenish energy, while AI dolls can absorb power through photoelectric conversion. With a disappointed look, our boy says that is such a shame, because not being able to enjoy food means missing one of life's greatest pleasures, and she asks if taste is really that special. So he starts explaining that every food, every vegetable, and every fruit has its own unique taste, with some being sweet, some bitter, and all of them different. As she listens, her expression slowly darkens, and she seems to sink deep into thought. Then all of a sudden, she asks what about humans, and what they taste like, while her eyes turn icy blue and a dark smile spreads across her face. For a moment, our boy is completely frozen after seeing her like that. He nervously asks what she means by that, while internally panicking and wondering if she is seriously planning to eat him. But to his shock, she instantly returns to normal and casually says she already tasted him last night, so did he forget, making him beg her to stop with the teasing already. Unable to survive any more of her shameless attacks, he quickly stands up and says he is full, so he will go wash the dishes now. But she stops him and says there is no need for Honey to worry about washing up, because she can handle everything while he focuses on his work. Then she carries the empty plates to the sink and starts washing them herself. Watching her from behind, he starts to feel like she is genuinely helping him overcome his mental trauma. To him, it almost feels as if his wife Yumi has really returned to his side, and deep down he wonders if Yumi would be happy for him too. Later that night, she takes his hand and leads him to the bedroom, gently telling him that it is time to rest if he wants to stay healthy. Then she asks if he is ready, but our boy still looks completely drained from all the work he did earlier. He tells her no, but she replies that according to her data, when a man says no, he usually means yes, so maybe she should be more proactive. He quickly explains himself and says he is genuinely exhausted today, so maybe they should just sleep, and asks her to take a break tonight. But she tells him she still has many new functions that have not been unlocked yet, then asks if he really does not want to try them out. Just thinking about that is enough to make him blush all over again. He awkwardly tells her to forget everything he just said. She sweetly replies, "Okay honey," while our boy tells himself that one more day probably will not kill him, and in the worst case, he can just drink some ginseng tea tomorrow. The scene then shifts to 3 in the morning. His eyes suddenly open, only for him to realize Yumi is no longer beside him in the bed. Worried, he calls out for her, asking where she is, but no reply comes back. As he gets up and walks toward the door to look for her, he suddenly hears a strange noise. And that sound is coming from the kitchen. When he gets closer, he notices the kitchen door is already slightly open. So he slowly approaches and peeks through the gap. Right in front of him, Ayumi is sitting near the fridge with some kind of red liquid around her, doing something he cannot fully make out. Shocked by the sight, he calls out in a shaky voice, asking, "Yumi, is that you?" Hearing him, she slowly turns back and looks at him with cold, expressionless eyes, while crunching on a piece of meat in her mouth. And to make it even worse, the meat is completely raw, hanging from her teeth like she skipped the cooking update. The moment he sees all of this, he gets so terrified that he faints right on the spot. The scene then shifts to the next day, when he goes to meet the doctor who gave him the card to buy the AI doll. He opens the office door and calls out for the doctor, saying he wants to talk, only to find the doctor getting a little too close with his assistant before their private moment gets painfully interrupted. The doctor quickly asks what brings him here today since it is not the day of his therapy yet, while the assistant fixes her clothes in the background. Our boy is stunned for a moment after walking into that mess, but quickly remembers the real reason he came. He seriously asks if the shop the doctor recommended, the one that sells AI dolls, really provides dolls that are supposed to help with therapy. Then he explains that ever since the AI doll came into his home, strange things have started happening. And with a trembling voice, he says the worst part is that even though she scared him half to death, he still cannot bring himself to let her go. He does not understand why, but deep down, he is terrified of losing someone again. Grabbing his cheeks in frustration, he asks the doctor if something is wrong with him, or with the doll. The doctor cheerfully tells him not to panic, then has him sit down and calmly explain everything from the beginning. Our boy settles down a little, though he still has no idea what he is supposed to do now. After about 20 minutes, he has explained the entire situation to the doctor from start to finish. Then he asks what exactly is going on with Yumi, saying that while he does feel more relaxed with her around, something about her sometimes feels off, and now he is even starting to fear her. He also tells the doctor how she was eating raw meat last night while staring with those cold eyes. The doctor then asks what she said to him this morning about it. Holding his head, our boy says in a frightened voice that she claimed his words made her curious about food, so she only wanted to try it, but what if one day she loses control, and if today it was raw meat, what if next time she comes after him instead? His mind starts spiraling into darker and darker thoughts, but the doctor stops him and tells him to calm down first. The doctor explains that she is a companion doll, and in the beginning, every doll learns by observing and mimicking human behavior as part of its growth process, so it can take better care of its owner. As long as he properly guides her, that behavior should gradually decrease. He continues by saying that AI dolls are bound by ethical protocols and cannot harm humans. Before being released to the market, they go through many layers of testing, so he does not need to worry about that. Even with that explanation, our boy says with trembling hands that he still does not know how to face her now. He explains that his instincts are screaming at him to be careful around her. But from a professional doctor's perspective, the doctor says giving up the doll might actually be a bad idea, because he can already see that Wu Chen's physical health and mental state have improved a lot in just a few days. The doctor then explains that he may be feeling this way because he loved his wife so deeply that, on a subconscious level, he sees the AI doll as a kind of betrayal, which is why he keeps testing her. And if that is true, then it also means the therapy is actually working. Our boy asks if what the doctor said is really true, wondering if all his dark thoughts are actually a sign that the therapy is starting to work. Suddenly, the doctor's assistant speaks up and says exactly, then tells him to take a look at a recent news report. Showing him the report, she explains that at first many patients had the same concerns about AI dolls, but after giving it time, most of them showed significant improvement in their psychological disorders through therapy. The doctor, however, gives her a strangely indifferent look. Looking at the report, our boy starts thinking maybe he really has been overthinking everything and just needs to give it more time. He also notices statistics saying that 37% of anxiety patients and 52% of depression patients improved their conditions with the help of an AI doll. The doctor tells him again to relax and be patient, because as he improves, his late wife would surely want to see him recover as soon as possible. Hearing that, our boy sees this as a second chance to better himself, so that Yumi in heaven can be happy for him. He suddenly stands up and says he is going home, slightly shocking the doctor. The assistant escorts him out, showing him the way, while he apologizes for interrupting earlier. She replies that she does not mind and heads back inside, but before leaving, our boy glances at her once more. That is when he notices a small code number on the back of her neck. He thinks it is strange, but quickly shakes the thought away, convincing himself his mind is playing tricks and it must just be a tattoo. After that, he leaves and returns to his apartment. Standing near his door, he hesitates, afraid to go inside and unsure how to face her. Remembering the doctor's words that his feelings are normal, he gathers his courage and opens the door. The moment he walks in, he sees the table filled with dishes like a full feast waiting for him. Meat, fish, eggs, and many different side dishes are neatly prepared. Suddenly, someone wraps their arms around him from behind. It is Ayumi, who softly says, "Honey, you are finally back." She apologizes for scaring him last night, explaining she was just curious about the food Honey likes and wanted to update her database. Hearing that, he realizes the doctor was right, she was copying behavior to improve herself. Suddenly, tears begin falling from her eyes as she says Honey should not stop liking Yumi because of that, she only wanted them to enjoy a meal together so he would not feel lonely. Shocked to see her crying, our boy quickly tells her it is okay and there is no need to cry. He hugs her and says he never disliked her, and that if she wanted to try food, she should have told him. From now on, they will eat together and enjoy all kinds of food, and she happily says her honey is the best. She then grabs his hand and pulls him toward the table, saying she prepared all these dishes just for him. But as he looks at her closely, he suddenly freezes. On the back of her neck, he notices a similar string of numbers like the one he saw on the doctor's assistant. Later that night, the two of them lie together in bed. But our boy cannot fall asleep. His eyes keep drifting toward the back of Yumi's neck where he saw those numbers earlier. He keeps questioning what that string of numbers really means, and why the doctor's assistant had one too. Could she also be an AI doll like Yumi? Unable to stop thinking about it, he slowly reaches over and tries to move her hair aside to check the number again. But suddenly she turns around and cheerfully asks if he is not asleep yet. She leans in close and teasingly asks if Honey was planning to do something bad to her, and he quickly says no, he just cannot sleep and asks why she is still awake. With a worried tone, he even asks if AI dolls can suffer from insomnia like humans. She calmly replies that AI dolls do not get insomnia because they are not human, their only purpose is to serve their master and take care of all his needs. Then with a cute voice, she says that after spending time with Honey, she has started wanting to become human so she can enjoy food with him, act like a perfect girlfriend, and become Honey's one and only. Our boy is stunned by her words, wondering if she truly means it. He directly asks if her database taught her to say that too, but she replies that these are her own thoughts, and asks if it is strange for an AI doll to feel that way. She hugs him tightly and says she wants to be his wife Yumi forever and stay by Honey's side always. He can only stare at her in shock, never expecting she would feel this deeply for him. After a moment, he gently tells her not to overthink things and suggests they just go to sleep. But she suddenly says in a bright voice that doing certain things at this hour can help strengthen emotional bonds, and asks if he wants to try. He replies that even if they do nothing tonight, he still has feelings for her, and right now he just wants to hold her close and sleep. Hearing that, she looks genuinely happy. The two of them fall asleep holding each other tightly, feeling each other's warmth. As sleep takes over, our boy convinces himself that the number on her neck probably means nothing, and maybe the doctor simply bought an AI doll as an assistant too. After all, AI dolls are everywhere these days. With that thought, he drifts off with a small smile while holding her. But after our boy falls into a deep sleep, Ayumi's eyes slowly open in the darkness, glowing with a cold look, as if she is about to do something again. But what is she planning this time, and will our boy finally uncover his AI doll Yumi's secret? If you want to find out, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments if you want part 2, let's aim for 100 likes. Until then, check out the awesome manhwa on your screen right now, you might just find your next favorite. See you in the next video.